Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin aka Tags.
Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Welcome to episode 173 of Forever Exiled. Dun, dun, dun,
dun. That's right.
Big shout out to Corsic for joining our Patreon this week. Thank you so much. And for everybody else who supports the podcast, we love your faces. Here's what Patreon gets you access to. It's obviously After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast. Lots of fun and things to do, plus a card and a sticker, and our gratitude.
Which is the biggest thrill of all.
Biggest, that's right.
Also, I would like to brag a little bit.
Okay.
Last week in After Dark, we actually talked about Path of Exile the entire episode.
Yeah, and it wasn't a short episode either.
No, it was like an hour 20 or something like that. But then normally, it, like max After Dark is like 50% Path of Exile, maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Not last week. Broke the mold, Justin, last week. No more cookie cutting for us.
Agreed.
Now, before we get into our Path of Exile talk and catching up, I just want to hope or wish. I mean, I guess it's kind of empty. It's not in my heart, but it's not like there's anything I can do about it. But New Zealand's getting a lot of rain.
Yeah, I saw some video of
pictures, right? Yeah.
Airport is flooded.
Lots is flooded. Yeah. And apparently a lot of it centered around Auckland. But when I was checking the weather for New Zealand, it seemed like the entire country is just getting smashed with a lot of rain. So we feel you.
That's not fun.
We feel you. Yep. We wish you the best. And I mean, in the same week that they have a prime minister swap too out of nowhere as well. So crazy business. Hope everybody's okay.
Mm-hmm. Good luck to everybody. Stay dryish.
And I hope you don't lose anything important. I guess floods remind you very quickly about what's important. So anyway, the best of everything.
How was your week?
I think I went on a spaceship, man.
Yeah, you look like an android in your picture.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I had, I was doing a sleep test for some of the issues that I'm going through, but then they also kind of they kept me longer than the normal sleep test period. So I was in the hospital for about a 22-hour-ish appointment, hooked up to all these nodes, and they were testing how I nap and a whole bunch of stuff. It was really, really interesting, but they were testing me for a whole bunch of stuff, including, what's it when you like fall asleep randomly? Narcolepsy, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the one where you sleep with dead people?
Yeah, what's that close. One? I don't remember. Necrophilia.
Right.
Necrophilia.
We have a friend. So there's this game that Justin and I play with our friends. It has nothing to do with necrophilia.
Yeah, maybe we should get this story out quickly.
Yeah, so there's this game and we go and but it's, I forget what it is, where it's like, you read a word and then you have to draw it and then you kind of pass it around. What's that called?
Shoot,
so
I don't
anyway,
remember.
The game is basically like each individual person gets their own word or sentence or phrase, and they can draw it out with only with only pictures, no words. They pass their piece of paper to the next person, and then they have to
guess what that
word was based on the drawing, and so then they write the word down. Then they pass that word on to the next person, and then it's kind of like a game of elephant where like it's going to go around 6 people and it's like word picture. And you're hoping.
I remember telephone.
No, it's telephone. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. And so it's kind of like that. Anyway, we have this buddy. I don't know if we should say his name, Ryan, and he knows the craziest definitions.
I don't remember which one it was, but it was like wanting to sleep with your mom.
Something like that. And he knew right off the bat what it was.
It's so funny.
Oh man. But he's just got like, that's just what you get when you read books, He just knows this stuff. Mm-hmm. So anyway, whereas I probably don't read enough books because I always get the difference between necrophilia and
narcolepsy
mixed up because I don't know. They start with an N. So who wouldn't screw that up, right? So anyway, the sleeping one, I got tested for along with a bunch of other stuff. And so I had like 30 something cords connected to my head and feet and legs and chest. And
did you just have to stay there all day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had some freedom, but like, so they put me in a room, right? Because I need to sleep and sleep properly. And so they put me in a room. It was all white. So right away, I'm like, all right, science labby. I'm like a test subject. Mm-hmm. But it had an always on 2-way PA system. So if I ever needed anything, I would be like, hello, are you there? And then someone over the PA would be like, yep, what do you need? And I'm like, okay.
But like, even if you're making a phone call or something,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could hear it for sure. There was a video camera in there. There was an infrared camera so they could see me at night. And my sleep schedule had to be exact, exact. So it was kind of interesting, but I had to be in bed. No phones. You know, I was like a little kid again. No phones, no screens, no watches, no nothing. Just 10 o'clock, you're out. We'll wake you up at around 7 o'clock, which I had to pay for parking. So they better have. Could only pay for 12 hours or then 3 days. There's an intentional, no, you can't pay for 24 hours at our stupid hospital. Anyway, and then for the napping that I had to do throughout the day, starting at 10:15, I had a 20-minute nap. So like they come in, they barge in, like, okay, everything off, turn everything off, phone has to be off, no notifications. And then we go through the routine, and there was like a certain routine we had to do.
To get you to sleep, or what?
To make sure that their equipment was working properly after they plugged me into the wall. And, you know, it was like moving my eyes up and down 10 times, left and right 10 times, grinding my teeth. Like they just had to make sure everything was working, I guess. So 8:15, 20 minutes. Or sorry, 10:15, a 20-minute nap. Then they come in, wake me up. I'm not allowed to sleep outside of it.
What if you're not tired?
Wow. I always am. I slept for every single one, man.
Wow.
It was glorious. So 10:15, then 12:15, 2:15, 4:15, and then I was out of there by 5 p.m. Then I went in at 7 p.m. the previous day. So it was pretty interesting. But I definitely felt like, I don't know, I pictured like an alarm going off in the hospital. And then if I opened my door, I would just picture like everyone would be gone and there'd be bloodstains everywhere. It was that kind of situation where I was just that test subject in this white little cubicle with a bed, and that was it. And I'd like go out after I hear all this alarm going off and everybody's gone. It's just crazy blood. And like you said, there's also a possibility that one of those times that I woke up, I was an android. I was replaced. My real self is somewhere, and I'm just a robot. They had a controller in the back
and were like making you do stuff.
So I'm probably still asleep at the hospital. And the individual that woke up with all of the nodes that they took off.
Hopefully he's nicer and happier.
What, the android or the one that wakes up after?
That I'm speaking to now.
We'll find out. We'll find out. So anyway, it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting week. We got our TV as well because our TV busted, and so
good.
We decided to go, instead of really cheap, which I'm normally a fan of doing, we decided this time around to go and spend the money on quality. We still got a good deal on it, but we decided to go on quality and see if it's worthwhile, how well it treats us long term. So
cool.
Didn't have the money for it, but you know, one of those things in the first world country you feel like you need, even though you don't. So we spent the money on it.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you? How was your week, man?
It was a zoo. It was a zoo of a week, but it was fine. It's going to be
family stuff or work?
No, work this week, next week, and the week after. For the next 2 more weeks now is going to be awful. But
can you say anything about it?
No, I can tell you about it privately. But yeah, it's just insane. So yeah, work's been like literally just us trying to record. I've been on the phone and in meetings all morning. And when I looked down at that one point, it was another call coming in. But I'm like, no, I put it on silent. D&D, leave me alone. But yeah, it's been really busy for work. It's been fine for us and the kids. We've been having some fun with a 3D printer, and my wife got a sublimation printer for Christmas. That's what she wanted.
That's not a real word.
Yeah, it lets her. She likes cricket cutting, so it's like you can design shirts and mugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sublimation lets you actually take like prints. So instead of you having to like piece together the colors and stuff for it, you actually just print a sheet and then you can heat transfer that right onto the shirt. Like this shirt that I'm wearing right now was one that I designed, and then
cool.
She actually just makes it. So
it's really good.
Yeah, it was fun. So my kids were having a good time with that too. My son was designing his own stuff yesterday. And
can you get sued for that shirt?
No, because I'm not selling it. And in fact, the bottom part with the Air Jordan 1 with all the, I actually made that with AI. So I have, there's no,
cool.
Yeah, it doesn't use the real stuff from Air Jordan. So if you looked at it closely, you'd see it's not. So, but we're not selling them anyway. It's just for fun. But otherwise,
you're just selling them for fun.
Selling them for fun. Yep. Otherwise, it was a good week. Nothing like out of the norm or anything. It was just work is just, it's crazy, like actually crazy for the next couple weeks. So otherwise, I didn't actually get a ton of PoE this week. I've been waiting for Ruthless, which I knew for our private league, which is starting up today.
Yeah, you mentioned you were going to pace
I
yourself
want to
out a
take
bit.
the week off a little bit and make sure I enjoyed Ruthless. So Ruthless for our private league, if you're not in it, you can still join it, but that starts in 2 hours from now. So I wanted to make sure I was able to play that, especially because I'm not sure how much time I'll get next week.
It's too bad. 2 hours record time, by the way, people, not from the time that you're listening to this.
No, 2 hours from when we recorded it. So it starts Friday at noon PST. It'll run for 10 days. If you want to join, you can hop into our Discord, and the link is under announcements. And we put it into our Discord just because we don't want it out to the public. It's a community thing. I know some people don't like Discord, so you're welcome to just grab the link if you listen to the podcast and then leave afterwards. That's totally fine. I get it.
Yep. Anyone can join. It's just not something we're advertising.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that, but I didn't do a whole lot of PoE this week. It was mostly, I literally, my phone by like 4 o'clock was at 30% every single day. So it's been a bit of a zoo, but here we are.
Here we are, Just.
Here we are. Are we ready to get into some PoE stuff?
Yeah, we can. By the way, well, we're racing to get this episode done in under an hour today, folks. And it's, well, A, because Justin's really busy and he wants to edit this, but also we want to be ready for the start of our private league so we can play with people that are also getting to start at the start time. So that's our rush today.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this. My thoughts through After Dark have shifted, but I'll talk to you about that when we get into PoE, more PoE related.
Your thoughts about After Dark?
No, that I had during After Dark about what I was going to play have shifted a little bit. So,
okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well, now you'll never believe this, but Justin and I normally aim for around a 45-minute episode every week.
We're hitting it today.
And I don't think today might be the first time we ever hit it.
Yeah.
Click on the talent competition link, though. I assume you didn't check any of this stuff out throughout your week because you were too busy.
I just opened them right before we started.
So the first link's the talent competition link.
Yeah.
There's one in there that I think you would love. They're all really good, and congratulations to all of them. But check it out.
Yeah, they are pretty sweet. The video game one is awesome.
Isn't it? That 1980s gaming art with the descriptions and stickers and price tags. Game PoE's free.
I love that they put free to play in the little sticker. That's really cool.
That one
just really good.
That hit home to me. It did. Yeah, that one hit home to me big time. I remember way back when we used to live in the Greater Toronto area. I think this was in Scarborough. My dad had an Atari in his office as he was going to seminary. And he was finishing up his master's. He had an Atari and he had this detective game and something else. And I just remember the boxes for the games that you would put them in. And man, did it look like that. Little booklets that came with it. Pretty awesome.
I like that the rating is 2 6 links and a divine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, Hideout Showcase. And I'm sorry, MBX stream, but didn't get to check out your streamer interview this week. Busy for both of us, unfortunately, but looking forward to reading it this weekend when I need a little bit of a break from the private league. Build of the week. Oh, actually, sorry. Yeah, the build of the week, the build showcase. That one was a really cool one. Connor Converse made a really cool damage style build where it was all about what's that skill where it deals damage. It's like a rune or something like that, and it deals damage based on the amount of mana you have missing.
Mana bond or something to that effect.
That's right. And it looked like it was just done on cast while channeling or cast on crit or something like that. And really, really good. And I really enjoyed the person that was doing the voiceover for the build. Really seemed to be very excited about it as well. But yeah, it was a really cool interactions with all the different uniques, and I quite enjoyed watching through the whole thing. So it was really cool. Something to check out for sure.
I saw someone on Discord say that it was a build that they had followed for the league, so that's cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. So that was episode 3, season 11, and that one was worth the watch for me for sure. I'm sure they all are, but that one I got a chance to sit down and watch, and all of a sudden it was done. I didn't feel like skipping forward at all. It was a very interesting build.
Nice.
And one thing I wanted to mention though. So this week, of course, their sale is the, what's it called? Stash Tab sale, PoE. But last week they had this massive pet and hideout sale. And I really hope, I know.
Yeah, I might have noise in the background. I'm not closing the window. It's so friggin' hot. So if you hear little kids, it's because there's a playground nearby.
Oh, right. No. Okay. So no, I was thinking maybe for some reason it was one of your kids that was screaming and they were dying homesick from school or something. But no. If it's someone else's kids dying, that's fine.
Nah, they're fine.
Okay. So anyway, last week there was a massive pet and hideout sale, like last weekend, I guess it was. And I know GGG just completely revamped their store maybe a year or so ago. They said we're kind of restructuring it so that it's better for some of the future content we're putting out. It needs another overhaul, man. Like, they need a better filtering system.
Oh,
like so you have your categories, you pick pets or hideouts, you pick specials, you pick, like armor or whatever it is, skill MTX. And then that's it. The only other filtering you can do is you picking your own keyword,
right,
and typing it in. That's the only other filtering. Now, here as an example, if I type in pet, that's like when there's all pets are on sale. That I'm still having to scroll through 120.
What would you want? What would be a suggestion? You mean like submenus? Like what would they be though? Like horses,
right? Exactly.
Lions. Well, I don't know.
I mean, you could type that in. You could type in horse. You could type in lion. But what if it's a Pegasus instead? And you don't know what it is. You just saw this cool thing running around.
The sorting then?
Well, they have so many like different. Right now, it's self-typed keywords, but you could do something like price ranges. You could do colors. You could do themes. You could do something like flying, insects, wall, flooring. Like especially when you get to the hideout stuff. That's like trying to find the proper keyword to find what you're looking for. In some circumstances, like, oh shoot, I saw this in somebody's display. Maybe it's a statue, but maybe it's a pillar. You know what I mean? Then if you don't have the keyword, you can't find it. So if they had some of their own things, to me, the biggest one I think would be price range. Like for me, I like looking at them and I have a certain budget that I can meet short term. And it would be awesome to categorize them from like 0 to 50 points or 100 points or something like that. So anyway, I was just thinking that despite the fact that they did a recent rework 1 or 2 years ago, especially before Path of Exile 2 comes out, I think you definitely want a way for just a very casual person. I mean, that's kind of the free-to-play mentality. You just want people to come in, check it out, and stay. And the more people that stay, the better. And the easier it is to spend money, the better. And what greater way than to actually find what you're looking for in the store very easily and not needing to scroll through 1,000 things. I love the huge sales, but I literally spent 10 minutes scrolling through all the pets to see if I had the ones that I wanted that I could afford. One at a time, previously purchased. No, that one's not purchased. So
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe PoE 2.
Anyway, well, hopefully it's done before PoE 2 because it would suck to lose that initial flux of new people trying your game out and the store isn't up to snuff. The store would be average as opposed to really nailing it. You know what I mean?
I feel like if they are doing something like that, you won't see it till 2.
Yeah, just hopefully it's before. But you know what else I noticed this week? I was typing some stuff in and then I was at the hospital and then I need to log onto the hospital network to check stuff out. And I was doing some PoE thinking while I was there. And like everything signed me out of everything. And so I was kind of discombobulated. Nothing, kept my logins. I had to relog in for a few things. I typed in PoE Wiki in Google.
Yep.
And the PoEWiki.net, the new one, showed up on top of the fandom one.
Awesome.
Congratulations, community. We did it. Now, still, our Discord was saying that if you still search for like SRS PoE,
certain
the
things,
fandom one will still show up first, but we're getting there. It's
coming.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, surely. She's nice. So you didn't have a PoE week at all this week, did you?
No, just thinking mostly.
Right. Yeah. And you want to tell me a little bit about, because I had some things that I did this week and some stuff that I forgot to bring up a couple episodes ago that I'll bring up. But did you want to maybe mention a little bit about what you're thinking now for the...
yeah, I may as well get it out because it's going to be short and then we can chat about whatever you're going to chat about. So in After Dark, we were working through, it was fun. Actually, last week's After Dark was a lot of fun going through all the ridiculousness of what ruthlessness is. And to be honest, I didn't actually know a lot of the stuff we found out in After Dark because I hadn't really looked into Ruthless yet.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not going to try and go RF Jug because the more I was thinking about it this week, RF, first off, I don't want a mule. I don't want to play like a shadow to get fire trap. And I don't want to play another class all the way till the end of like an act in order to get a skill. That's just not, I don't have the time for it. It's not the way I want to play.
It's not how I like it either.
So I want to go in just relatively blindish. But when I was thinking about RF, needs supports, which a lot of skills do, but RF has so few supports that actually work with it. Like there's very, very few. And so I was like, I could end up in a position where, because supports are very, very rare. The one nice thing with the jug is you don't have to worry so much about the auras because you're tanky anyway. So we're never ever going to find a determination. That's just, we're never going to find one. So that there's a lot of auras that you don't really need for it because it is tanky enough. But I don't want to be stuck with the fact that it's unlikely for me. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. What I want to try and do is I'm trying to think if there's a way to play something that could benefit if a support drops. Maybe there's multiple skills that I could play around that. I haven't really decided anything yet. I'm going to literally decide to just make something right before we start in an hour. But I'm not sure RF is going to be it because I'm too nervous that within a 10-day league with the amount of play time I'm going to have, I may not ever actually get to the point of playing RF.
Well,
so
you can, I'm going in with the mentality that to play Ruthless for the first time, that I'm not going to get any supports. So I'm picking my skills based on what I'm going to have fun with as a single link the entire time. Well, you can do that with RF.
Well, sort of. See, the thing is, like, take any other skill. Take, I don't know, caustic arrow, or literally almost any other skill. Doesn't require anything else to run it, whereas RF requires your life regen and your fire resist. You know what I mean? So like any other skill, granted they may scale off of other things, but there's no limiting factor besides having enough index or strength to be able to do it. Whereas with RF, you can't just throw it on. You do require some life. Granted, you can get a bit of it on the tree, but yeah. Well, but then you also have to ascend, and there's so many things that RF relies on that other skills don't. And so I'm not sure if I would just be putting myself into a spot where I'd just get frustrated. And I'm not sure. I'm not saying I'm not, but it was a thought I had this week in driving. I think I was driving actually, where I started like thinking through the private league a little bit, but I'm not sure.
I was surprised that you were that excited for it, but it does work well once you get it set up. What else would you think?
I'm not sure.
What do you, because you still got to pick your starting class, which is your biggest limitation in regards to skills.
I've seen people, I have Shaq's little thing bookmarked for the private league so I can pull it up. But I know a lot of people talk that Cold Dot was pretty good just because there's multiple skills that you can use that sort of scale the same way. So I'm not sure. It's not like I'm doing anything to try and win. I'm just trying to see how high I can get level wise and, make the lottery a little bit tougher, but also experience Ruthless. I really do want to experience it quite blind. So I'm not sure. I'm not really sure yet. I'll probably figure it out literally right as we're getting into. Are we hanging out? Will we start it?
Are we gonna chat? I'm hanging out with me. Do you want to hang out with me?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll hang out with you. Are you going to stream? Because I do want to watch you die.
Yeah, I'll stream. People like watching me die, so I'll do that.
See if you can actually beat breaking the eggs. But anyway, so I'm not sure yet.
Are you going to vendor your tabula that Hillock's going to give you?
No, because that's where I'm going to put all my active skills. I'm not going to need the other items. That's going to be 6 active skills.
You're going to QWERTY, or I guess it's just QWERT. You're going to QWERT like mad the whole time. 5 active skills. Would you consider melee? I know it's highly dependent on a melee weapon, but the amount of supports that would, or I guess, I don't know, like to me, if you're concerned about a support working, self-casting a spell or melee is, I don't know. To me, that would be your greatest variety that you'd be able to work with.
Yep. So I'm not sure. I always like melee, but I'm not sure Ruthless is the way I want to go with melee. But it'll be fun. I'm really excited to get into it. Apparently I saw on Discord this morning, right as I was getting ready to leave, that you have to have like a filter. So I need to make sure I sort that out because they don't use the normal filters. Like you have to at least have one set up for Ruthless. So
yeah, it doesn't allow you to select from your normal filters. You have to have created a Ruthless specific filter, which Neversink has. But
yeah, it's no
I'm
big
just going to
deal.
be taking my filter, copying it over, and then at the very bottom just type show. And so then it's going to keep all of my colors and all of my banners and all of my sounds, but then it's going to get rid of all the hides that I have, and it's just going to show everything.
Is it some sort of different type of extension that makes it allow you to select it when you're in Ruthless? Like, If they're all dot filters, what's the difference with?
I don't know how that works. I haven't touched it yet, but no matter what it is, I think it's just, they're just kind of protecting the user here and not accidentally using the wrong filter.
Huh, interesting.
Because even the default filter, they said, isn't really good for it. But if you turn your filter off, then you don't get any variety in your sizes or sounds or colors. It's all
sure
boring and petty.
Cool. Anyway, how was your week playing PoE? Did you play?
I did, and I'm really, really liking the Reaper.
Yeah?
You bought me with your endless supply of money, souped up minion shield and wand, and I've been dancing with it. Like, I've been really, really liking it. Part of the con is I'm not really seeing how the build progresses with average gear, which, granted, almost everything else I have is average, but I mean, you gave me a wand and a shield that both have +1 to minion skills and over 100% to minion damage, which is insane. I'll never ever have those again. And so I don't know how the build would perform with average gear, but I'm flying through content. Well, not flying, like it's not like the ultimate of clear. It's nice for my pace. I'm not finding that I'm lacking damage. I'm finding that when I fight that stupid wasteland boss on a T16 or 15 and it's standing in its chaos pool, I can still do damage to it. It's still ticking down, and I'm really enjoying the tankiness. I zone out sometimes, and so I still die to something where I'm like, what was that? But man, I am so much more comfortably tanky, and I'm loving that I'm doing it with Petrified Blood.
Right.
And I ended up getting, let me quickly bring that up here because I forget the cluster notable. I ended up respecking my tree a little bit, and yes, infused flesh. So there's that 3-node cluster of life recoup, 6% of damage taken recouped as life.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it only refers to hits, but that 3-node cluster is 30% of damage taken recouped as life, and that's exactly how Petrified Blood works anyway.
Right.
I mean, not the same percentage in terms of Petrified Blood is complicated. Idea. Right, exactly. It's over 4 seconds, and I feel like. And I'm always at 49.1 or whatever % of my life. So I'm always low life. It's just awesome seeing it barely move. Or if I take a huge hit that should have killed me, I just see it go. And I really like the recovery and the tankiness of it. And I mean, so many mods that used to scare me, like all the increased damage or like physical damage, 100% physical, turn to lightning, turn to fire. I'm doing these maps without thinking about them. It's pretty fantastic. I'm loving the defensive layers. What do I have? Petrified Blood, a buffed up Vitality because of Vitality. Buffed up Golem life regen because I'm the Elementalist. Buffed up Chaos Golem. So that's, what is that? Physical damage mitigation there. And I shouldn't list it all, but I'm going to, so just a sec.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so Determination, Enfeeble, Petrified Blood, Vitality, the Stone Golem that's buffed up, the Chaos Golem that's buffed up. I'm going to be getting rid of Flesh and Stone because I find a lot of the times I'm not properly within that proximity for it to be that beneficial.
Okay.
Yep. You know what I mean? So for example, I was fighting, what's that? You kill the boss in the axe it's like the big bear, and it like growls at you, and it's all dark and it has these crevices.
Early axe or later axe?
Well, I don't remember. I think you kill it in the second.
The black bear or the white bear?
The black bear.
Okay.
But then it's a boss later on as well in the maps.
He's the guy who killed me in our one of our private leagues. Yeah,
I remember that.
Or
Yes.
Something.
Yes. So I just fought that thing, and it had 4 torment mods on it.
Okay. Yep. Fun.
And it was, and it was corrupted. So who knows what that did? And I'm running around a lot and I'm zipping around. And so I've found that a lot of the times in fights like that, which that's the Atlas tree that I like, and that's the Atlas tree I'm going to be sticking with. I can take the damage, but I can't just stand there blindly. I can take, and then I got to run around for a bit. Take. And so I'm probably going to replace, what's it called? Flesh and Stone with Arctic Armor so that I have a little bit more standing still or stationary mitigation, especially the physical stuff. What else do we have? Yeah, honestly, outside of that, like that just ends up making me quite tanky no matter the gear that I have on, which is quite nice. And I think I'm going to be adding Consecrated Path so that I can get some consecrated ground there. And then
It's not going to make you sick or
Summon Holy Relic. With controller support, it is different. It wouldn't be something that I use primarily. It would be something that I use to get there. And then honestly, once I'm there, it's not that bad. It is one of those skills that I would have to buy an MTX to calm down the consecrated path animation because it is very bright. The original skill without MTX is very bang, 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 bang. But like you were showing the, I don't know if I will go with this one, but the celestial one that you had was a lot less in your face, a lot less bright, and you don't need like a seizure warning before you use it type of thing. So anyway, point is I'm really, really enjoying all of it. And I just keep, because of After Dark last week, now I can't stop thinking, because when we were talking about our builds and how we were going to start this private league, we started talking about Summon Holy Relic, which is a minion skill that I'd forgotten about for maybe a league or two. And I'm like, oh, now do I do that instead of Reaper? Maybe can I use it in conjunction with the Reaper? So should I use Consecrated Path with Summon Holy Relic instead of like Purifying Flame, right? To still get the consecrated ground? And I'm like, I'm kind of going back and forth. And so I just love the theory crafting of it. I can never really take a build to its full potential because I just keep going and going and going. But I tied my record of, well, I guess my record is actually 92 on console, but I hit 91 on PC, which I don't remember the last time I did. I normally stop playing in the mid 80s on PC. So, so it was good. It was good. So yeah, the problem with this game, Justin, is just that it's amazing. I can't stop thinking and planning and theory crafting, and I wonder what this is going to do and that. So that's pretty fun.
What's your plan for Ruthless?
I still haven't decided if I'm going to go with something melee and Summon Holy Relic, which the Templar gets, and then go Guardian, or if I'm going to go with the Witch and go Elementalist and then go Reaper, because I know that I can get a Golem as a quest reward, and I know I'll get the Reaper as a quest reward. And would you play till then just
SRS?
Yep. Yeah, and then I'd get Clarity instead of Summon Skeletons, just because then I have a variety of options if I decide to change my mind based on a quest reward that I feel like. Because I've never played Ruthless, so maybe I'll change my mind. But yeah, the idea is that I'll go with the Reaper, and then I'll use the Elementalist, and then the Reaper will get the fresh consume buffs, which is a massive DPS increase. And that'll just happen by my first ascension. My golems automatically respawn. And
those things seem to work fine without supports? Like those
don't need it at all. The only thing that I need to make it stress-free is the first ascension, where golems are automatically
respawn. Yeah. Right.
Otherwise, if I found summon phantasms, I'd probably prefer that just to try it out. But that's not a guarantee. Who knows if I can ever find that. So this is a guarantee to get the summon where I don't have to hit a button for it. And so my very first ascension makes all of my golems.
But you'd have that first ascension even before you get the golem.
Yeah, I probably would. And by the way, I'm going to path my tree. I'll already have the golem buff node as well. So by the time my first ascension shows up, I'll have 3 golems. Granted, it is going to be the same golem unless an extra one drops, but that's fine. So that's kind of the idea. So that's where that's like an active skill support that I don't have to link. It's something that I earn. It's not something that has a chance of dropping. So that was my idea for the private league. So going Elementalist with the Reaper. But as I was doing all this theory crafting, I looked up a few things, and I don't know. Check out this description of stationary. This is why I love this game. Right? Okay. Obviously, sometimes like if you overlook this in a build and you spent 30 hours trying to figure something out, and then you miss a description this complicated, it gets you pissed off. But when you catch it on time, or you're just looking it up casually like I was, because I was looking at Consecrated Path, and I was like, okay, Consecrated Path with Arctic armor. Am I actually stationary? Am I not? Right. And so there was that's a really good page. When you go to the stationary page on the wiki, it actually is really not wonderfully detailed. So here's stationary. This just makes me laugh. Imagine somebody who's not used to Path of Exile reading this. Stationary is a keyword used in the description of various unique items, passive skills, modifiers, and pantheons. It refers to the fact that a character has remained located in the same position within a zone without moving for some non-instant period of time. It's just like there's so many little factors that make that stationary. And then they have a whole bunch of things like, okay, so then there's some examples. If you teleport with Flicker Strike and this buff was on you before you teleported and you technically didn't move with the Flicker Strike skill, you just teleported, it does or it doesn't. This buff carries, this buff doesn't. You're technically stationary here. Your stationary instant starts over. And so it was a pretty interesting read, but I just love a character that has remained located in the same position within a zone without moving for a non-instant period of time.
It's
There's
why
just so many different check marks.
Using like, was it Pious Path or whatever, where you would have Consecrated Ground when you weren't moving, you would just need to make sure you casted something every 4 seconds because the Consecrated Path would persist for 4 seconds. Right. So you would make sure and a cast, you always like at least stutter for a second, which you do actually stop, which then kicks back in. I love that that's all that wording. I looked it up on dictionary and it's not moving. That's the description.
Yeah, that's right. And Path of Exile, that's like somebody like from Path of Exile is like, that's it.
That's not enough.
That's all it says. No, let me fix this. And so now it's like you got this massive wiki page for what stationary means. And I love it. I love that kind of stuff about the game. Especially when you catch it ahead of time instead of playing these sumptuous ways. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's kind of the thing that I'm thinking now. I probably wouldn't do the Consecrated Path version of the Summon Reaper build if I went with Elementalist, because I like those golems doing a little bit extra more damage as well. Sometimes the Reaper's dead and I don't realize it, but people are still taking damage because I have the Stone Golem and Chaos Golem running around. But if I was to do the Summon Phantasm version, which is the Reaper with any other ascendancy, there's a lot more gem space for my personal preferences to allocate both. Like I could basically replace the one Golem 4-link, the Stone Golem 4-link with the Consecrated Path 4-link. With Spiritual Aid, of course. And then I could replace the Chaos Golem 4-link with Summon Holy Relic. So it works out well in that regards. But I was playing around a little bit, of course, because that's also fun. Almost as fun as theory crafting, playing the game. Now, you normally kill things quickly. I have a reputation of killing things quite slowly, so I get to observe the wonderful details of the game. Have you ever noticed Ziri when so in the Ziri fight, she puts herself in this little transparent
cocoon in the middle,
and then enemies start running towards her, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed what she's doing?
No, but I know she heals if they get to her.
She's dancing. She's like got her hands above her head and she's doing like an extremely back and forth hip dance.
An extremely back and forth. Ooh,
no, it's like
sexy.
it's not just little movements.
It's wavy.
Like, she's trying to like smash the outside.
She's sucking them all in.
Well, it looks like she's trying to break the edges of her cocoon with her hips. Like it's like, poof, poof, poof. But yeah, it's dance. It's a dance party. She's got like, that's probably what's going on in her head. So I noticed that this week. I haven't
noticed what she's doing. I just know that if they get to her, she'll heal.
Well, considering Ruthless is probably going to be slow pace for you, if you get to Ziri, check out her dance moves.
Are you crazy?
Do a zoom in, check her out. Well, you're doing the Val side areas. Are you kidding me? The glorious possibility, if there are Val side areas, Val items can drop linked, man. You get a little bit more. Those Val side areas are going to be sexy if they exist.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to get to the point of doing it Ziri. Val side areas would actually be really good in Ruthless, I would imagine, quite early on.
So anyway, hippie dance. Check it out next time you get your little room with the Ziri. See how she dances.
She's doing a dance.
Scroll in and zoom in. That's right.
Do you have any goals for if you're done your week? I was curious if you have any goals for our private league.
There are 3 posts that I made this week.
Oh, go for it.
They're not that. One of them was asking how multi-strike works with the Reaper, because I see, like, I was thinking about remember last week, I think it was, where I was talking about melee physical support, only working with 2 out of the 5 Reaper skills.
Right. Yeah.
So I was looking around at some of the other supports that work for the most part for melee, and multi-strike was another one of them. And I'm like, does it really work for all of them? I see people using multi-strike quite a lot, which obviously they're not doing the bleed portion of that, or maybe they are. But it was another one of those where the Reaper has a certain amount of skills where it's like multi-strike could work with some, but then there's like a cyclone attack, a spin attack that happens, and I couldn't see it working. So I asked about that, and multi-strike only works with some of the Reaper skills, kind of like melee physical support as well. Wrote a bug that the Reaper sometimes stands around just doing nothing right in the middle of a whole bunch of enemies. It's like
weird.
Yeah. So I sent them a little video of it, and you can see just in the middle of the video, it stands there for good. You can count to 5 seconds. It moves a few times, doesn't attack anyone. It's just having a sip of tea. And then I asked GGG to improve their gifting in the store.
Like points or giving away MTX or something?
Yeah, all of the above.
Because
it would be amazing
100%.
for friends, content creators, even people that don't play the game to easily be able to buy gift points, a specific MTX or support pack for anyone they wanted.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
A typical online store.
Yeah, I just wish there was some easier ability to buy any of that stuff. It's a nightmare. I haven't done it yet. I actually need to do it for our private league, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. It always is.
To need to email somebody for a purchase is weird.
Well, and then not only that, but it's like make these 6 purchases and then don't touch anything, and then let us know when you've done that, and then we'll take the points out. And sometimes the numbers are incorrect. And like one time they wanted me to do 7 purchases. I was like, can I just do this 1 plus these 2 instead? Because that will equal the same amount of points. They're like, oh yeah, you could do that. Like when you on Steam, when I purchase any pack or any point thing, that's 3 emails, each one. Each one of them represents 3 different emails I'm going to get when I make a single purchase. So like my inbox just fills when I'm doing our points for the private league. It's super frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would be much nicer to be able to buy stuff more easily.
Yeah. Well, it'd
so
be nice
for
if
a
I could
company
just
to make it hard to give them money.
It is.
Doesn't make any sense.
Again, I'd hate to be a broken record about it, but with PoE 2 coming, think about the amount of extra cash you could make if it was just easy for people to gift. Oh, you wanted this? Oh no, you got to get, like, imagine all the new buddies we could have trying to play PoE 2, and we're so excited. We're like, oh no, yeah, here, check, take this, and it'll, you know, let me gift you the currency stash tab. How can you do that now?
Yeah, I know. It's so silly.
Right.
People's arguments have been like RMT stuff, which I don't get. Like, I don't really understand how that would affect people trading real money for, well, I don't actually know what. It doesn't make any sense, because if I could do it anyway through an email, what's the difference if I could buy it through the store? Like, I can email support and get a code for the exact MTX or the exact amount of points. It just requires me to purchase stuff in the game. I don't understand what the difference is if I make a purchase in the game for a code instead. I don't know. It's very bizarre to me.
Kind of like, I guess, like you could buy Xbox or PlayStation or Steam points, but those aren't the only ways that you can play the game. There are people that play on PC for whatever it is. Like, it'd be cool if you could just have a Path of Exile code. Like, not necessarily like, kind of like if you were to go to the store and be like, hey, here's $20 for Path of Exile, and you scratch away the code like you could for WoW or Roblox or whatever it is. Now, sure, like they're probably not looking to put those products in the store, but something similar. You could just go on their website and click gift card. You get a code, send it to whoever you want. There it is. And then they get it.
So much easier, because that is what happens. It just requires you to go through a bunch of steps right now, and you can't make a purchase all at once. It's all convoluted with multiple combinations of purchases. So I really hope that's something they've thought of for PoE 2, because it's the one thing I dread every private league is like, oh god damn it, I'm gonna have to like go through. Their support is great. It's nothing against their support, because their support's phenomenal. It's just they're really stuck in the same box we are, that this is the only option that there is, and
this is how we do things.
Yeah. There's got to be better ways to do it. Got to be.
Well, there are, and hopefully they're chosen to be implemented before the big rush of their Lost Ark numbers for Path of Exile 2.
Well, it'll come out with Path of Exile 2. Nothing's coming out before Path of Exile 2.
Hopefully they're ready to implement it so that it's ready for Path of Exile 2.
Right. I'm hoping it comes with Path of Exile 2.
That's great. That's just great. Now, unedited, we're over 45 minutes, Justin. You had a question for me. Something about Ruthless.
Well, what are your goals? What are your goals for the private league?
Well, beat you, which will be really easy.
What are realistic goals?
Yep. Beat you, because you're not getting past breaking the eggs. Today's going to be your only day to play, and then you're going to be all I gotta do work and I'm gonna be busy. And
Still not going to be lower than you. There have been times
3D
where I have
printer.
thrown work away because I died in a hardcore league, and I've said to Christina, like, I'm not watching a show tonight. Tyler's a higher level than me in our private league. I have to go and play.
Well, that's all right.
So do you have any goals though?
I'll comfort her later then. I'll comfort her later.
Besides the unrealistic one?
No, I just want to see how it goes. Like, I'd obviously love to actually get the Reaper because that's the whole reason that I'm the Elementalist. So I would like to do that. SRS is going to be fine. I'm curious what Gravicius is going to be like with SRS though, because it's going to be SRS that I'm using to kill Gravicius, who's very resistant to fire, and I'll have no supports for my fire. So hopefully I can do damage to him so that I can actually get the Reaper. Yep. But outside of that, no, I'm just excited to see what it's like. I guess my goal would be to unlock the Reaper and actually play with it a bit.
Right.
It'd be neat to see how far I go. I mean, you're always looking for supports, and it's always neat to see what links you can come up with. And it's like always frustrating in a normal leveling experience when you're not getting the links you want or that match whatever leveling skill you're using. But it'll be interesting to be comfortable before the game even starts with the expectation knowing I'm not going to get any supports. So let's just see how this goes. Let's see what the damage is like for these skills.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
One thing that I am curious about, and this was something that I mentioned when GGG mentioned it in their Ruthless FAQ, but then also a little bit afterwards, was if you need a movement skill to avoid certain boss mechanics or something like that, like if you need a movement skill to survive, it shouldn't be in the game, whether it's core or Ruthless. So I'm curious to see if there are any of those circumstances as we go through the campaign.
I think the worst part is going to be lab without movement skills. Doing lab without a movement skill is going to be awful.
It's doable. I do it all the time.
Traps are just, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think the most difficult part for me is going to be who's the third boss with all the lightning? Act 3 boss? Dominus. But not Dominus himself. I love the Dominus fight himself. He is very telegraphed but powerful, and I really like him. And sometimes you can get yourself in a tricky spot, but it's the people that are before him that are sometimes can be quite difficult without a movement skill. There's the boob shooter that makes you bleed. There's the guy that leaps halfway across the screen, and then the totem lady,
spinny guy, and
so the spinny guy has that he spins, but then he also has that really far fire slam as well. So those ones are the more difficult ones without the movement skill that I have a difficult time with. Dominus himself, I'm fine with. So anyway, I'm excited, and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the bleed in the second phase is a bit of a pain, but especially because you can't craft bleed on now, so you just gotta hope one drops or suffer through a bleed.
I'm curious how the flash drops are going to work.
I don't know if they've been affected, but it's not like you can roll them, so
no.
It's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be painful, and I'm quite looking forward to that. I know we're gonna wrap up, but I want to give a huge thank you again to Talon for his PoE bot that we use in the private league. I just saw that he messaged that it's all updated and ready to go for the private league start. So a massive thank you to him for doing that, because it's a lot of fun. I know a lot of people use it. It's really fun to see how everybody's stacking up, and it's super appreciated. So thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, and good luck, everybody. I know many of our listeners aren't going to be playing, but for those that are, good luck. And for the rest of the listeners, thanks for your patience with the shorter podcast today. We didn't mean to rush it. It was still lots of fun to talk about. And I promise I'll talk a lot less about the Reaper going forward.
No, you won't. There's going to be lots to talk about next week, though. And in After Dark, actually. After Dark's going to be a lot of fun because it's going to be our, God damn it, that was awful. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Episode 173, Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, AK Tags.
Tyler Ricker of Days.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us this week. We'll see patrons in After Dark. We'll see everybody else next week in 174. Good luck if you're playing in the private league. If you're looking for more information, you can find it down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun and supportive community Discord. So if you're not in it, hop into there. And Patreon's another way to support the podcast down below. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for joining. We had a very busy week of a whole bunch of new people joining Discord again. So thanks for joining, and everyone else, you're very welcome.